Dictation will start abruptly after 5 seconds. In light of the 46th Amendment to the Constitution, several state governments amended their sales tax laws and made provisions for the imposition of sales tax in relation to works contracts. Each state adopted its own method of determining taxable turnover, either by framing rules under its sales tax law or by issuing administrative directions. The method adopted by the states for determining the taxable turnover relating to works contracts for purposes of levy of sales tax were such that sales tax had to be paid by the building contractors, not merely on the value of materials supplied by them in connection with the works contracts, but also on the expenditure they had incurred in securing the services of architects and engineers who had supervised the execution of the works, and also on the amount which they were entitled to receive for supervising the execution of the works, while levying sales tax on the price of the materials supplied for the construction of houses, factories, bridges, etc. The sales tax authorities of states did not take into account the conditions and restrictions imposed by Article 286 of the Constitution and the provisions of the Central Sales Tax Law. The validity of such state legislations, as well as the constitutional validity of the 46th Amendment, was considered by this court in Builders Association of India versus Union of India and others. The court upheld the constitutionality of the 46th Amendment on the issue of the validity of the state legislations. It was contended by the states that a when a works contract is executed, what is handed over is a conglomerate of all the goods used, and the goods pass in an indivisible manner. In such cases, it was not possible to disintegrate the contract into a contract for sale and a contract for work, and thus Article 366 of the Constitution has conferred on the legislatures of states the power to levy tax on works contract, and b. the power to levy tax provided under Article 366 was independent of the power conferred on the legislatures of states under Entry 54, and the same was not bound by restrictions imposed under Article 286 and the Act 1956. Rejecting the aforesaid contentions, this court made pertinent observations regarding the rules tax law as prevalent in the state here. Subclause B of clause states that tax on the sale or purchase of goods includes, among other things, a tax on the transfer of property in the goods involved in the execution of a works contract. It does not say that a tax on the sale or purchase of goods included a tax on the amount paid for the execution of a works contract. It refers to a tax on the transfer of property in goods involved in the execution of a works contract. The emphasis is on the transfer of property in goods. The latter part of clause of Article 366 of the Constitution makes the position very clear while referring to the transfer, delivery, or supply of any goods that takes place as per subclauses A to F of clause. The latter part of clause says that such transfer, delivery, or supply of any goods shall be deemed to be a sale of those goods by the person making the transfer, delivery, or supply, and a purchase of those goods by the person to whom such transfer, delivery, or supply is made. Hence, a transfer of property in goods under subclause B of clause is deemed to be a sale of the goods involved in the execution of a works contract by the person making the transfer and a purchase of those goods by the person to whom such transfer is made. The object of the new definition introduced in clause of Article 366 of the Constitution is therefore to enlarge the scope of tax on sale or purchase of goods wherever it occurs in the Constitution, so that it may include within its scope the transfer, delivery, or supply of goods that may take place under any of the transactions referred to in subclauses A to F thereof, wherever such transfer, delivery, or supply becomes subject to levy of sales tax. So construed, the expression tax on the sale or purchase of goods in entry 54 of the state list therefore includes a tax on the transfer of property in goods involved in the execution of a works contract. Also, the tax leviable by virtue of subclause B of clause of Article 366 of the Constitution thus becomes subject to the same discipline to which any levy under entry 54 of the state list is made subject under the Constitution. The position is the same when we look at Article 286 of the Constitution. We are of the view that all transfers, deliveries, and supplies of goods are subject to restrictions under Article 366.